everything.
Hey Tammy, how are you?
Hi.
It's good to see you.
Chris Combs quitting TLC over a salary scandal has become one of the most shocking developments in recent reality television history. The world of reality TV is often described as unpredictable, full of twists and betrayals that seem almost scripted. Yet even the most seasoned fans of the genre could not have anticipated the bombshells surrounding the future of 1000 LB Sisters. With Season 8 already in production, fans were left stunned when news broke that Chris had walked away from the show after a bitter salary dispute that reportedly involved TLC withholding $50,000 that was rightfully owed to him. What began as tense negotiations behind the scenes spiraled into an explosive scandal, leaving one of TLC's most successful franchises in crisis and igniting a firestorm of outrage, speculation, and disbelief across social media. Chris Combs has always been more than just another cast member. He brought humor, authenticity, and an emotional grounding to a show that is often defined by chaos and conflict. From the very beginning, his presence balanced the drama of Amy and Tammy's journeys with a sense of honesty and relatability that viewers deeply connected to. Fans often described Chris as the heart of the series, someone who could cut through the noise with sincerity while still delivering the humor and entertainment people expect from reality TV, which is why his sudden departure has not only shocked the fan base, but also left a gaping hole in the very fabric of the show. For many viewers, 1000 LB Sisters without Chris is not the same show they fell in love with. Behind the scenes, sources describe a long and painful build-up to this crisis. Negotiations over Chris's salary were reportedly riddled with miscommunication, false promises, and growing frustration, while TLC executives continued to assure him that the matter would be resolved. Month after month passed without the promised compensation being delivered. What may have initially seemed like an administrative oversight soon began to feel like a deliberate withholding of money. And when Chris discovered that the $50,000 guaranteed in his contract had still not been processed, he felt betrayed and disrespected. According to insiders, this was the breaking point. After weeks of attempting to resolve the issue quietly and professionally, Chris finally decided enough was enough and walked away from the show altogether. The fallout has been immediate and intense. Fans took to Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook to vent their outrage, accusing TLC of mishandling one of its most beloved stars. Memes, hashtags, and angry threads flooded the internet as viewers demanded answers and accountability from the network. Some expressed disbelief that a major entertainment company could mishandle such a significant payment, while others saw it as part of a larger pattern in reality television, one where networks exploit talent, keep them underpaid, and reap massive profits from their struggles. For Chris's fans, the situation feels personal. Many pointed out that his contributions extended far beyond just showing up to film scenes. He shaped storylines, added emotional depth, and connected audiences to the Zlatan family in ways that no one else could. To see him disrespected in this way struck a nerve, leaving many to question whether they could continue supporting the show without him. Legal experts have also weighed in, suggesting that if Chris's allegations are accurate, TLC could be facing serious contractual and financial consequences. Reality TV contracts are notoriously complicated, often including clauses that cover everything from appearance fees and promotional obligations to payments for reshoots, voiceovers, and bonus content. Failing to honor those agreements, even temporarily, exposes networks to potential lawsuits and reputational damage. If Chris pursues legal action, the case could shine a harsh spotlight on the industry as a whole, raising questions about how reality stars are treated behind the scenes. Already, whispers have begun to circulate about whether other cast members have faced similar issues, but stayed silent out of fear of losing their jobs or damaging their careers. Chris's decision to stand up for himself could inspire others to do the same, potentially sparking broader conversations about fairness and transparency in reality television. Timing only adds another layer of drama to the story. According to sources close to the situation, Chris did not come to this decision impulsively. For weeks, he tried to resolve the issue privately, engaging in back-and-forth discussions with executives who offered delays, conflicting information, or dismissive reassurances. Each attempt was met with stonewalling until finally, Chris realized that continuing to negotiate was futile. Choosing to walk away was not easy for him. By all accounts, Chris loved being part of the show, not only because of the fans, but also because it allowed him to support Amy and Tammy on their journeys in a very public and impactful way. But when forced to choose between his principles and staying silent in the face of what he saw as blatant disrespect, he chose to protect his dignity and walk away. The fan reaction has been overwhelming, with many voicing empathy for Chris while also expressing fears for the future of the show. Without him, can Season 8 deliver the same emotional resonance? Viewers worry that the dynamic will feel hollow, that Amy and Tammy's storylines will lose the balance and authenticity Chris provided. Others speculate that his absence could trigger a ripple effect, with more cast members growing disillusioned or even following his lead. For some, this scandal feels like the beginning of the end for 1000 Delby Sisters, a show that has already weathered its share of challenges but has never faced something quite like this. Producers are now scrambling to contain the damage. Reports suggest that schedules, story arcs, and promotional plans are being rewritten in real time to account for Chris's sudden absence. His departure has thrown the season into chaos, with executives debating whether to shorten the season, delay it, or attempt to push forward with drastic rewrites. Whatever path they choose, the disruption is unprecedented. Reality shows depend on consistency and familiarity, and removing such a central figure risks alienating the audience. Internally, there is also mounting tension among the remaining cast. While Chris may have walked away to protect his integrity, Amy and Tammy are left to deal with the fallout. Fans are especially curious about their reactions, wondering whether they will publicly support Chris, remain silent to preserve their contracts, or struggle privately with the emotional loss of their brother's presence both on and off camera. The controversy has reignited broader conversations about the ethics of reality television. For years, critics have argued that networks exploit ordinary people by thrusting them into extraordinary circumstances while underpaying them for the immense profits their stories generate. Chris's allegations fit into this narrative, serving as a reminder that behind the entertainment, there are real people whose livelihoods and dignity are often at stake. Some fans have even called for boycotts of TLC until the situation is addressed, pointing out that the network cannot expect loyalty from its audience, while failing to show loyalty to the people who make its shows possible. As the scandal continues to unfold, speculation abounds about what comes next. Will Chris pursue legal action, forcing TLC into a messy public battle? Will the network attempt to settle quietly, hoping to move past the controversy? Can Season 8 survive without him? Or will the absence of its most relatable star mark the beginning of the end for the series? For now, uncertainty reigns. What is clear, however, is that the situation has struck a chord with fans who see Chris not just as a reality star, but as a symbol of authenticity and fairness in an industry that often lacks both. His decision to stand up for himself, though costly in the short term, may ultimately leave a lasting impact on how reality television treats its stars. The drama surrounding Chris Combs' exit is more than just a behind-the-scenes squabble over money. It is a reflection of larger power dynamics, a reminder that even in the world of entertainment, respect and fairness matter. As fans continue to rally behind him, demanding justice and accountability, TLC finds itself facing a reckoning unlike anything it has seen before. The scandal has shaken the foundations of 1000 Delby Sisters and cast a long shadow over the future of the Cantle. Of the Cantle's Scantle, of the Cantles, of the Intantles Cannel, of the Cantle's Scoo, look at this. Look at this. And we all know I've been exploring that. And we all know I've been exploring that path. With contental, as I've styled, as I've said, sees. As I see that when we elend, electal, secental, confor equated, LWL, with 6 candle. Korta candida see out, with thick with the weekend and we sicken with 3 you to see with this with franchise. Whether season 8 survives or crumbles under the weight of this controversy, one thing is certain: reality television has once again proven that its most shocking storylines are not the ones written into scripts, but the ones unfolding in real life.
Months ago. Your prealbumin now is in the high 17s. It's almost 18. So that tells me
Chris Combs' sudden decision to quit TLC's hit show 1000 Delby Sisters has set off shockwaves unlike anything the series has ever experienced. Reality television thrives on drama. But this time the conflict has spilled beyond the screen and into real-life dealings between cast and network. For years, viewers tuned in to watch the raw and emotional journeys of Amy and Tammy Slayton. But Chris became the grounding presence, a fan favorite whose humor, honesty, and relatability made him essential to the show, which is why fans everywhere were blindsided when reports revealed that Chris walked away from season 8 after a bitter salary scandal that allegedly involved TLC withholding $50,000 of promised compensation. What began as tense contract negotiations has now erupted into a full-blown controversy, threatening to destabilize one of TLC's most lucrative franchises, sparking outrage, speculation, and concern across the reality TV landscape. For audiences, Chris was never just a supporting character. He was the brother who stepped in when Tammy's health spiraled, the voice of reason when Amy wavered, and the comic relief when things became overwhelming. His presence felt genuine, unfiltered, and deeply human in a way that connected with millions. He didn't just show up for filming. He shaped moments, influenced storylines, and gave authenticity that made the show feel like a family journey rather than a spectacle. To suddenly imagine 1002 LB Sisters without Chris is to imagine a show without its emotional backbone. And that realization has left many fans not only shocked, but also fearful that the heart of the series has been ripped away. Behind the curtain, the story reveals a slow, painful unraveling. Negotiations over Chris's salary for season 8 reportedly began months ago. The contract allegedly included a clear promise of $50,000 for his contributions. Yet insiders say the payment was delayed repeatedly. At first, it seemed like a bureaucratic hiccup. But as time went on, Chris grew increasingly frustrated. What hurt most wasn't just the missing money, but the sense of being dismissed and undervalued by the very network he had helped build into a cultural talking point. He had given years of his life to this show, endured scrutiny, and invested his energy into telling an honest story about his family. Yet when it came time to honor his contract, he felt TLC turned its back on him. Friends describe how he attempted every possible avenue to resolve the dispute. Private meetings with executives, long email chains, calls, even mediated discussions. Each time, the answers shifted. One week it was accounting delays, the next scheduling issues, the next vague promises that everything would soon be handled. But the money never came. For Chris, who valued honesty and transparency, these evasions were intolerable. To him, it wasn't just about money. It was about principle. Eventually, he concluded that staying silent meant accepting mistreatment. And walking away, as painful as it was, became the only option. The fallout was immediate. Social media exploded with reactions ranging from disbelief to rage. Hashtags like #ChrisDeservesBetter, #TLC scandal, and #JusticeForChris trended as fans demanded answers. Twitter threads dissected every detail. TikTok creators posted emotional reactions and theories. Facebook groups dedicated to the show lit up with debates over whether they would even watch season 8 without him. For many, his departure felt personal, like losing a family member whose role had come to symbolize honesty in a genre that so often feels manufactured. The situation also raises serious legal questions. Reality TV contracts are notoriously complex, covering appearance fees, promotion duties, rights, and payment schedules. If TLC indeed withheld the agreed payment, legal experts say this could be a clear breach of contract. opening the door to lawsuits not only for financial restitution, but also damages if Chris can prove harm to his career. While he has been cautious publicly, insiders suggest he is exploring legal avenues to ensure the payment is honored if the dispute moves into court. It could become one of the most high-profile battles in reality TV, shining a spotlight on how networks treat their stars and possibly setting precedents for accountability in the industry. Production itself has been thrown into chaos. With Chris gone, producers are scrambling to rework storylines, reshoot scenes, and rewrite arcs that had been carefully mapped out. Family meals, emotional confrontations, supportive conversations all left incomplete without him. Amy and Tammy, whose storylines often revolve around their brother, are suddenly tasked with carrying not only their own struggles, but also the absence of Chris. Insiders say the atmosphere on set is tense, with cast members confused and fearful about how the season will move forward. Crew members, too, are reportedly anxious as delays threaten schedules and budgets. What was supposed to be another successful season has instead turned into a scramble to salvage something coherent. Fan speculation has only intensified the drama. Online forums buzz with theories about replacements, debates about whether the show can survive, and discussions about whether Amy or Tammy might leave next. Some fans have even called for boycotts of TLC, saying the network cannot expect loyalty while mistreating the very people who built its success. Others worry the scandal will tarnish the sisters' reputations, dragging them into a conflict they didn't cause but can't avoid. The show has always thrived on interpersonal drama, but this time the conflict is real and the stakes are far higher. At its core, this is about more than just a paycheck. It's about fairness, respect, and the integrity of a show that has touched millions. For Chris, the decision to step away represents not only a professional stand, but also a deeply personal one. Continuing to work for a company that withheld what was his would mean compromising his values. By walking away, he makes a statement that could inspire other reality stars to demand fair treatment. The ripple effects are profound. For TLC, the scandal threatens not only the future of 1000 LB sisters, but also its wider reputation. Reality TV has long been accused of exploiting its stars while profiting from their struggles. And Chris's allegations feed directly into that narrative. If TLC fails to address the issue transparently, it risks alienating fans across its lineup, not just this one show. Meanwhile, fans remain on high alert. Every update, every rumor, every word from Chris or TLC is dissected in real time. Speculation runs rampant about lawsuits, production delays, or even cancellation of Season 8. The uncertainty only fuels the drama, turning the scandal itself into a new unscripted storyline. One in which the audience isn't just watching, but actively participating through memes, discussions, and campaigns. This moment also exposes the fragility of reality TV's carefully managed world. Behind promotional posters and cliffhangers lies a messy business where money, contracts, and personal relationships collide. For Chris, leaving may mark a turning point in his career, redefining him not just as a cast member, but as someone who stood up for himself in an industry that often silences dissent. For TLC, the scandal is a test of whether it can navigate a crisis without destroying audience trust. And for fans, it's a reminder that the reality on screen is inseparably tied to the struggles of the people living it. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. 1000 LB Sisters has entered uncharted territory. Chris's departure is a dramatic rupture that will reverberate through the show, the network, and the fandom for years to come. Whether it ends in reconciliation, litigation, or the slow unraveling of a beloved franchise, the scandal has already secured its place in reality TV history as one of the most shocking disputes of all time. Chris Combs' shocking decision to walk away from TLC's 1000 LB Sisters has created one of the biggest scandals in reality TV history. What began as a private dispute over salary has erupted into a full-blown controversy with far-reaching consequences for Chris, the network, and the future of one of TLC's most popular franchises. For years, 1002 LB Sisters has revolved around the struggles and triumphs of Amy and Tammy Slayton. But Chris quietly became the show's emotional anchor. With his humor, honesty, and relatability, he offered balance to the chaos. He was the brother who stepped in during Tammy's health crises, the steady voice when Amy faltered, and the comic relief when the weight of the sisters' journeys became overwhelming. Fans connected deeply with him because he felt authentic, unfiltered, and deeply human. Losing Chris is not simply losing a cast member. It feels like the show has lost its heart. The scandal traces back to tense negotiations over Chris's Season 8 contract. Reports claim TLC promised him $50,000 in compensation money that was delayed again and again. At first, it may have looked like a bureaucratic oversight, but as weeks turned into months, Chris's frustration grew. He felt dismissed, undervalued, and betrayed by a network that had profited enormously from his family's vulnerability. He had given years of his life to the series, endured intense public scrutiny, and contributed greatly to the show's appeal. Yet when it came to honoring their side of the agreement, TLC allegedly failed him. Insiders say Chris exhausted every possible avenue to resolve the dispute. He met with executives, sent email after email, sat through phone calls, and even participated in mediated discussions. But the answers were always shifting. One week it was accounting delays. The next, scheduling issues. Then vague promises that payment would be sorted soon. The money never came. For Chris, who prides himself on being straightforward, these evasions became unbearable. This wasn't just about finances, it was about principle, respect, and integrity. Eventually, he reached the conclusion that walking away was his only option. Sources close to the network admit executives underestimated Chris's dissatisfaction. They assumed the issue could be handled quietly behind closed doors, not realizing how deeply he felt wronged. That miscalculation has now backfired spectacularly. The scandal leaked to the public, sparking unprecedented backlash and scrutiny. Social media has become the epicenter of the firestorm. Hashtags like #JusticeForChris, #TLC Scandal, and #Chris Deserves trended worldwide as fans vented their anger. Twitter threads dissect every update. TikTok creators post emotional reactions and theories. And Facebook groups dedicated to the show erupted with debates about whether Season 8 could even survive without him. Clips from past episodes and interviews are being replayed to highlight Chris's importance, cementing him as more than just a secondary character. This storm of attention also raises legal stakes. Reality TV contracts are notoriously complicated, covering appearance fees, rights, and promotional obligations. If TLC indeed withheld promised compensation, experts suggest Chris could pursue a lawsuit for breach of contract and potentially for damages. He can prove harm to his career. Entertainment lawyers warn that if Chris takes legal action, it could set an important precedent, forcing networks to handle talent contracts with more transparency. Such a case could extend beyond TLC, changing how reality stars are compensated and respected industry-wide. Meanwhile, TLC faces an enormous challenge. Not only must they manage potential legal fallout, but they also must salvage production on Season 8. With Chris suddenly gone, storylines carefully planned around him are left incomplete. Family dinners, confrontations, and supportive moments he was central to now leave glaring gaps. Amy and Tammy, already struggling with their own personal battles, are now carrying the added weight of explaining his absence. Insiders describe growing tension on set. Cast members feel uncertain. Crew morale has dipped, and producers scramble to rewrite episodes and adjust shooting schedules. The sudden shift has reportedly sparked friction, with some cast growing frustrated over the instability. What was supposed to be another hit season has turned into a production crisis, leaving even veteran crew questioning how or if the season can move forward smoothly. Speculation about the show's future is running wild. Fans debate whether new cast members could replace Chris, or if producers will shift focus more heavily to Amy and Tammy. Some worry his exit could inspire the sisters to leave too, effectively collapsing the series altogether. Boycott calls against TLC have already surfaced, with many fans declaring they won't tune in without Chris. Fueling the drama are whispers of other behind-the-scenes conflicts. Though unverified, some insiders suggest Chris's frustration wasn't just about money. Rumors point to disagreements over creative control, clashes with production staff, and disputes about storyline direction. If true, these tensions suggest a deeper fracture within the show than fans realized. Painting a picture of a production under immense strain, through it all, Chris has remained mostly silent publicly. Friends say he is weighing his options carefully, listening to legal counsel and refusing to rush into statements or decisions. While some fans hope he may return if TLC resolves the dispute, others believe this marks a permanent exit. His cautious approach has only heightened speculation, with fans hanging on every rumor about his next move. The emotional toll on Chris himself cannot be overstated. He reportedly struggled with sadness over leaving a show he loved, acknowledging privately that walking away was both painful and necessary. But his decision reflects a growing awareness among reality stars about the need to assert their rights and protect their integrity. By taking a stand, Chris has positioned himself as more than just a cast member. He's become a symbol of resistance to exploitation in an industry known for it. The backlash has also become a nightmare for TLC executives. Early attempts at damage control, brief public statements, and vague reassurances that filming would continue have failed to calm the outrage. Analysts say the network may need to take far bolder steps, renegotiating with Chris, offering full compensation, or significantly restructuring Season 8. If they fail to act decisively, ratings could plummet. Cast relationships could deteriorate further, and the network's reputation could take long-term damage. The situation underscores the fragile line between reality TV drama and real-world scandal. What started as a simple salary dispute has snowballed into a crisis, blending financial betrayal, emotional pain, and high public visibility. Chris's departure is not only a loss for 1000 LB sisters, it's a flashpoint in the larger conversation about fairness and accountability in reality television. As things stand, Season 8 is shrouded in uncertainty. Producers are reportedly re-editing existing footage, shifting narrative arcs, and even considering introducing new cast members to fill the void. Fans, however, remain skeptical. Many believe the show's emotional depth cannot be maintained without Chris, whose humor and relatability balance the heavier storylines. The tension surrounding these unanswered questions has ironically generated more drama than any single episode this series has aired. For TLC, the stakes could not be higher. The network must balance salvaging production, retaining audience trust, and preventing further legal fallout. For Chris, the path forward may involve legal battles, new opportunities in television, or stepping away from the spotlight altogether. For fans, the scandal has become an unscripted saga unfolding in real time. One they are not just watching, but actively shaping through campaigns, hashtags, and online debates. What makes this moment so striking is how it reveals the fragility of reality TV's world. Behind polished promos and dramatic cliffhangers lies a volatile business where money, contracts, and relationships collide. Chris's decision to walk away could mark a turning point, not only for his career, but also for how networks treat reality stars going forward. As the dust continues to swirl, the future of 1000 LB Sisters hangs in the balance. Will TLC rectify the dispute and bring Chris back? Will Amy and Tammy hold the show together? Or will the absence of their brother weaken its core? Or is this the beginning of the end for one of TLC's biggest hits? Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear. Chris Combs' exit has become more than just a cast change. It's a cultural moment, a scandal that has forced fans, networks, and the entire reality TV industry to confront uncomfortable questions about respect, fairness, and the true cost of entertainment. And no matter what happens in Season 8, this saga will be remembered as